Hitting record, so that's happening. Oh, we gotta stop this. Okay, patron, see you in a minute. Save. Open. Okay. All right, Brian, here it goes. This is happening.
Hey, you say so. Okay.
All right. It starts in 3, 2, 1.
So there's a plethora of things that I could speak about, from pay parking to, but I'm going to get right to the Pokemon Go.
Mom, I want a vape.
The morning stream. The morning stream. The morning stream. The morning stream. Morning stream.
You are not prepared. This is the morning stream.
The morning stream. Morning stream. Morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the morning stream for Thursday, November 14th, 2019. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ebbett. Good morning, Brian.
Hello. Happy Thursday to you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, no. Really? Not a happy Thursday to you?
It's all right. Actually, today's busy because at about 3:30, I got to go to the university again, and that's fine because it's nice to be
Oh, yeah.
invited if it's an
Teaching
honor and
your
all
class.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a different class. This is I don't know what I forget what their focus is in this class. Might be game narrative or something, but they like to do these units on what other kinds of careers can you build around gaming. Not just in gaming, but around
Not just
it.
being a game developer, but no, I can be a game player on the internet and make tens of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it is sort of a cold, hard reality check where I just say, if you all think you're going to be ninja, you need to reevaluate your expectations for what you're going to do. Instead, focus on what makes you unique and don't try to just be the next Fortnite hero. And we'll see how that goes. So that's today at 3:30. I got to get down there and make it happen. And it always stresses me out because I have a lot of other stuff to do, and my whole afternoon is shot because of it. So it's just the way it is.
Travel time. I know. We're working from home and doing this little thing that we do.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to say, guess what? As soon as I hit click close on the Skype and we're done recording, within 2 minutes I'm working on an ad for Landmark Lincoln automobiles.
Yeah.
And
No commute makes a difference.
yeah, totally does.
I like not having one. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Should be fun, though. I might record this one. People asked for it last time, and I forgot. So maybe I'll record it, see if it's worth anything. If it's dumb, I'll delete it. But if it's good, maybe you guys can hear it. I don't know. We'll have to decide. Anyway, we're back. We got a show to do today. We got Wendy coming up later with a topic that is based on some recent events within the community that we want to talk about. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an interesting take on. We've had other topics with Wendy about grief and stuff like that before, but today we're going to do it in a different context, one that the Frog Pants community can probably relate to. So we're going to do that later today. I have big news to share with everybody. Well, Brian and I both do. We both have big news. You know about this.
I know.
We're doing something cool. So, do you guys like kids? Do you want to help kids in need? Well, good news. We're going to do that. We're going to do a charity drive, and we're going to do it on Black Friday. So, Brian and I from, what did we say, 8 to 3.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The morning, we got to figure out exactly when I can start in the morning, because the other thing I realized is Black Friday, the morning, is also Record Store Day 2. Like they do Record Store Day 1 in April, they do Record Store Day 2 on Black Friday, and so I might, like, first thing in the morning, be waiting for the cover singles that come out that morning. It's a work thing, Scott. It's a business thing.
It is. It's actually my wife's birthday, too, so I'm having to make sure that night is super good for the birthday and not so much the earlier in the day. But
oh, hold on a sec. Wow. TV Zegon is saying, Coverville, I can do Record Store Day for you if you like. Well, really? Oh, dude, let's talk.
okay. All right.
Yeah, that might actually work perfectly if you...
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If I just give you a list of the things I want, and then I send you some Kasharuski.
Yeah.
And,
Kasharuski.
Kasharuski.
You're such a gangster with your
Yeah,
nomenclature.
you think, all right, Benny, I'm going to send you downtown to go pick up the Kasharuski from...
You need to be at the drop at 4:30. Pick up the
Right,
Kasharuski.
pick up the Kasharuski.
Sounds
I think
perfect.
that's more of like a Like, hey, everybody, I'm going to go pick up the Kasharuski, and then we're going to have the traffic at 5.
Yep, that sounds more like it. So anyways, here's the deal. We're working on some final details on time and all that. So once we get that solidified, we'll let you guys know. Plenty of details to come. However, the main plan is we're going to play video games. We're going to do a bunch of other fun stuff. We're going to include as many friends and fans that we can fit in there and participate with us. And it's all going to go to a great charity, which Brian will now explain because he's been working very hard on that side of it. So, Brian, who are we supporting when we do this thing?
We are supporting a group called Heartcrate. Heartcrate.org is where you can find out more about them. These guys are awesome. They're a couple of guys, local guys here in Colorado, who reached out to me. They both work in the system as far as like the foster kid fostering thing. I'm getting a lot of echo all of a sudden.
Sorry, it's something with Discord when I opened a new tab. It's annoying.
Don't push that button.
Yeah.
So they've been working in the system, like helping get kids out of bad situations, child abuse, neglect, things like that. And often when they've gone into these situations, the kid has got like 5 minutes to grab whatever he can, sometimes just the clothes on his back, and get out. And they go from a situation where they're getting beaten, sadly sometimes, into a situation where while they're waiting to get fostered, they're in something that is a little bit warmer and a little bit nicer than a prison cell, but very similar as far as like they've got a bed, they've got a dresser, bathroom, all that stuff, but they don't have their stuff, their amenities, their things.
Right.
What Heartcrate does is it works with the fostering agencies and foster parents to get kids some stuff of their own that they can kind of take place to place. And Heartcrate, if you compare it to like Loot Crate, you sign up for Loot Crate and you get a box every few months where, well, you used to anyway before they went bankrupt. You get a box every few months where you get some like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff and a Doctor Who thing and a Lord of the Rings dealy bobber and a Marvel Comics this and that.
Right.
But if you don't care about Doctor Who, or you don't care about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that stuff's all great, but you're just going to kind of give it away. What Heartcrate does is they work with the foster parents and the foster families to find out what these kids are interested in, so that not only do they get stuff that is specific to them, but they actually get a box to keep it all in that's kind of theirs. And if they need to go all of a sudden, if they're moving from one foster family to another, they don't have to say, oh man, all right, where's my this toy and where's my that and where's this. They've got their own little box that has the stuff that they love in it that they can take from place to place and have some consistency and happiness in their life. So
check out this mission statement. This is a great mission statement. This is Heartcrate's website, which people can find at heartcrate.org. That's HEART, crate, like CRATE.org. Says their mission we believe underprivileged children and victims of child abuse and neglect deserve more. They deserve to know there is a community of people that care about them, value them, and are willing to provide more than just basic necessities. Heartcrate invests in kids that need it most and help them prosper and grow. It's a great mission statement. They are a 100% nonprofit. It was started out of a community of listeners, people who listen to us already, which is how they got in touch with us in the first place. Mm-hmm. And they're working directly with us to make sure this goes well. So 100% behind this sort of thing. Kids in need, especially kids who've been victimized and abused and all that kind of stuff. If there's any way to bring them any kind of relief, I'm all for it. And so we're going to do our best to do a little fundraising for them on that day, which is what day is
Black
it this
Friday.
year?
Black Friday it is Friday, November 29th.
29th. Oh, I should know that because it's my wife's birthday. All right, so my wife's birthday. We'll do that, and do go check out the website. You guys can kind of see what their deal is, how they create what they create, how it gets sent to people. Their whole process is listed there. And anyway, we're gonna have a ton of fun. That's the other thing. If you're just looking for a good time on the 29th, you're gonna find it there.
Exactly.
So looking forward to it. That is how long is that? If we do it from 8 to 3, that ends up being our time. That's how many hours?
That is 7 hours.
7 straight hours of quality nonstop content streamed right to your face.
That's right. Exactly.
Yep.
So, and yeah, we're talking about, I mean, if one of the requirements we have to play is that whatever, I can't remember what it's called, draw together. No, what's the You Don't Know Jack drawing game? There's They're
Oh,
Pictionary. which
Drawful.
not really-
Drawful 1 and 2.
Drawful.
Yeah.
Drawful.
Oh, we are playing Drawful, dude.
We are playing some Drawful.
Yeah, 100% playing Drawful. There is no question. And can't wait for that, actually. I love that game like nothing else.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a lot of that weird stuff
Yep.
from the Jackbox games. I'm going to get Brian to play
Sure.
Duck
Murder
Game.
Mystery Party. Yeah, we'll do some of that.
Yeah, Brian's playing Duck Game whether he likes it or not.
I'll totally play Duck Game. Can I play that on Mac or does it have to be PC?
I think
'Cause I'm
that's
okay playing.
pretty sure it's a Mac game, I think.
Okay, good.
As well.
Good.
I think it's everywhere.
All right.
I could be wrong. I should check that.
Good.
Yeah, there's that bomb defusal game. What's that called on there?
Oh, the don't touch the wires and everything explodes.
Stop
or
my mom or she'll shoot. Is that it? No, that's not
something
it.
like that. Yeah.
I forget what it is. But and then the Jackbox people, they have a mini version or kind of a version of that too. So maybe we get it all in one. I don't know. But
I think so. Yeah.
anyway, it should be good. TVZ Gum, why are you saying the case has a red light on the top? Did we repeat something?
I don't think we did any of that. I think he just likes a good callback like
Oh.
all of us do.
Well, don't we all at some point?
Don't talk or everyone explodes. That's it.
That's it.
Thor 430, 4231. I can't believe there were 4,230 Thors before him. He says you should play some of the games that have 100 users and invite the tadpole. Oh, we will.
Oh, we will. No, we guarantee that's on the list.
We will. Exactly.
And we're going to load up on whatever bundle we need to get all those things so that we're all set to go. So anyway, it'll be a bunch of that and who knows what all. We're just going to have some fun. So come be a part of it. That's on the 29th of this month right here at frogpants.tv.
Yeah, fun.
I keep hearing, okay, there were rumblings on Twitter, and then there was stuff in the tadpole this morning. Would you want to explain what your cat did? Something happened with a cat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and whatnot. Yeah, this takes the place of the Coverthon. I'm still doing a thing for to raise money for Alzheimer's, but I'm moving it to June because there's actually now an Alzheimer's Day in June. It's the spring solstice, spring equinox, vernal equinox.
There you go.
It's that's the day that is like the longest day, and they've taken that to be like the Alzheimer's money making day.
You know what bums me out? Sorry to interrupt, but this bums me out. We have a city here in the state, not far from me, called Vernal, Utah. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
The fact that there's not a dance club there called the Equinox is a crime. It's a crime. It should be.
No
People
kidding.
should be able to say, "Where are you going this weekend?" Oh, we're going to go to the Vernal Equinox. Well,
That would be great, right? How cool would that be?
it's a missed opportunity. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry,
It is.
continue.
Anyway, all right. So yesterday, getting ready to do Coverville, fire up the old OBS, and starting to do a little stream action, and it just poops out, immediately quits. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's just restart it, no problem.
Yeah.
And now, because of Catalina and OBS, I have to actually launch it using a terminal command, because if I try and launch it using, I don't know, the max standard of double clicking on the application, it crashes. So you have to actually launch it using a terminal command.
All right. That sounds
Thank
less
you,
than.
OBS. Thank you, Catalina.
That's less than awesome right there.
It's less than awesome. And then it just keeps quitting out. So I'm like, oh, crap. Well, I guess I put a thing on Twitter saying, having problems with OBS, I'm going to go ahead and just record the show non-streaming and post it, and people will be able to hear it then. So I start recording the show. I'm like, well, you know what I could do? I've got the PC over here. I could run an audio cable over there, install Twitch, that new Twitch streaming beta app,
Yeah.
and run an audio cable from my Mac over to the PC and just stream it that way, and just put up some sort of graphic up there. You know, people don't need to see me per se. They can just see the logo and just listen to the music.
Exactly what I do, by
So,
the way, for the show every day.
First two, is it? Yeah, and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on.
Yeah. I've been doing this for a long time though, because OBS was always kind of poop on the Mac. But anyway,
Yeah, no, it's finally crossed the poop border to where I can't handle it anymore, and I can tolerate a lot of poop, Scott.
Yep.
But I can't tolerate that.
nope.
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Right.
So I get kind of this rudimentary thing going, and I work on it during the first couple songs of the show, and and I've got some people coming in. Oh, cool! You're streaming anyway, Brian. Awesome, good to see you. I don't see any video, and I'm like, no video, just janky little haphazard audio stream today.
Yeah.
And people are digging it. They're loving the Bonnie Raitt music and her slide guitar and her blues. And then all of a sudden, I start seeing messages in the chat. Oh, what happened to the music? I'm like, what do you mean? And I look over, and the little bar that fills up and the meter, the level meter, isn't filled up anymore. Like what used to be blue and moving is now black and empty.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, something probably just got pulled out of the socket behind the computer. No big deal. I'll go behind it.
Yeah.
I walk around to the back of the computer, and I see Anara, who looks up at me like this face right here, like yeah, her right there.
Guys, again, just a quick clip would be great. I want to make a GIF, but go ahead, Brian.
And this right here just bit right through the cable.
That depresses me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just chompity chomp chomp.
Oh, that bums me out. This happened to me before too. It's always a cat. Also, always a cat.
Yeah. And this cable plugged in, 40 minutes before. It was in a drawer until about living its life happily as a cable curled up in a drawer sleeping. Oh, I get to have some music go through me. Oh, cool. All right. Ooh, music is go. Oh my God, the cat just cut me in half.
Your vision of a sentient cable is pretty awesome. That's pretty good. So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna
there's a little bit of Jeff Goldblum. I watched that Jeff Goldblum thing last night. And,
how is that? Was it
I
good?
love it. It's so good. It's if we're gonna go into this sneaker factory, look at see, it's already slipping into Jimmy Stewart. I was like working on it. I couldn't do it. While
I think it's when you're doing it. If you do it publicly, your Jimmy Stewart comes out. I think in the mirror you'll be all right. But.
Oh, what a delightful collection of sneakers you have there. Is it the tongue? Oh, the tongue. I always wondered why it was called the tongue. Why do you lick something with your sneaker? Is that what it's for? Ha ha ha. Ha ha. What a delicious sneaker you've created.
Wow. I'm glad that's good. I want to see it.
It's great. And it just cements the fact that Jeff Goldblum is an absolute national treasure, and his childlike innocence and wonder is, I feel, 100% genuine.
I think it is too. I wish he was a little more critical of Woody Allen, but it's fine. He can say what he wants. I watched The Mandalorian last night. Can I just say,
yes,
Brian, they made it for me. They made it for me.
If I could have written your tweet, I could have probably written your tweet before you did. Oh my God, The Mandalorian is the greatest thing ever, and I don't know where this has been all my life.
I'm going to have a really hard time shutting up about that thing. I'm going to end every sentence with "I have spoken." Like freaking, I don't know if you noticed who that was. That was freaking Nick Nolte. That is the voice of that thing. Oh my gosh, I can't even start to talk about what I love about it.
Taika Waititi. I had forgotten that Taika Waititi was the IG-88.
He's an IG-88 like, right? That's not actual IG-88.
Right. That's not actual. Definitely can't be IG. I don't think that is IG-88.
Yeah, just another. He's another. What do they call him? Droid.
IG-11 is what people are saying. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'd heard that and I'd forgotten it, and then I heard it and went, "Oh wait, isn't that?" And then I looked it up and I was right. But anyway, it is. It's a space western. It's everything I want. It's everything I want out of Star Wars. It's everything I like about Star Wars, distilled into a series form. I don't. Every part of Star Wars is good, but what I love the most, have always loved the most, is the scoundrel element. The far-off reaches, scum and villainy element, the bounty hunters, the freaking smuggler scene, the dark streets of Coruscant. Like, I don't care so much about all the Jedi business. I don't care. It's not as interesting to me. The ultimate good and evil, great, go do your thing. Where I really want to spend my time is in the freaking nasty bars and taverns with these, like, mysterious cowboy-like dudes doing cowboy-like stuff in the far reaches of the Outer Rim. I absolutely freaking love it.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
stop thinking about it. I'm so excited. Now, you
right,
guys, it's going to be as bad as Mad Max for a while. I'm sorry. It just is. Where I'm just going to have to bring it up all the time.
There's going to be the new drinking game coming to TMS is Mandalorian or Mad Max.
I'm more excited about a
Mad
single.
Maxalorian.
I'm more excited about a single episode of this than I am episode 9, and I'm excited about episode 9. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward
right.
to it.
And what's funny is this episode was all world building, and we're going to be very, very careful about. Obviously, no spoilers because, yeah, we get it here now, but other parts of the world don't get Disney Plus until next year.
Oh, I
early
won't
next
spoil
year,
a thing. Yeah, I want people to.
So obviously, we're going to be
experience
really careful about that. However, the world building that is already being done in this, give me the puck. You know, all that stuff is like,
dude.
like-
You
it's
are
just like
singing
so-
my song, dude. I love that so much. Give me the puck. We are doing this with other. Oh my gosh! When you got freaking Werner Herzog giving him a. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's everything I wanted. I can't believe how much it is what I wanted. I thought it was. I thought I was going to get a watered down, TV-ified sort of. I don't know what I thought. I just didn't think they could do this. They just are. Oh, and I I haven't seen any other episodes, so maybe it goes off the rails from 2 on. But if it's consistent with episode 1, I am so into this I can barely stand sitting next to myself. I love it. I freaking love it.
Wow, cool.
Oh,
Next episode comes out tomorrow. This is a show that I'm going to watch day and date as opposed to like setting up a bunch to binge because I love it. Plus, it's a good digestible size. You know, 35 minutes, 40 minutes or something. I don't know. It's great.
And they're setting up stuff that like about the Mandalorian way that I don't really know. And so learning that as we go is interesting. Again, not giving away anything, but the conversation between the 2 Mandalorians was interesting. Seeing those stormtroopers and the ratty ass old stormtrooper outfits.
Right. Right.
And it's it's beyond
I
what
guess
I
I got to
expected.
look up where this exactly takes place. Because,
Well, it's the Empire. The Empire's dead, so it's sometime after, like well after Jedi, I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know when though. That's a good point. I'm not sure what exact time frame that
Yeah.
is.
What is it in relation to the new trilogy, the current trilogy?
Oh, and nobody told
funny.
me. Oh, go ahead.
Wow. When I go into Google and I type "when does," it autofills The Mandalorian take place.
Does. Oh, I don't get that one. I get when does Game of Thrones take place?
5 years after the Return of the Jedi ends.
Oh, interesting. So 5 years. All right. Oh, that's cool. And there is definitely a sense of there's a vacuum of power in space. Like they really do such a great job. Oh my gosh! And they don't have to shove it down your throat. They world build the way Mad Max or other great things do. They just kind of let it unfold, and your imagination grabs onto a thing, like those pucks. Oh my gosh, those pucks! What a stupid, great idea! And by the way, Brian Posehn is in this first episode.
Right. That was the first guy that I absolutely recognized. Like, oh my God, it's Brian
I
Posehn.
can't believe he's in this. That guy, freaking 52-year-old Brian Posehn and his speeder. All right, anyway, go watch it. It's amazing. I can't wait for episode 2. That's tomorrow, you say?
Tomorrow, they say, is the next episode comes.
They're
out,
calling them
so.
chapters, and there's only 9. That's kind of sucks. I'd like more. I'd like more than 9, please. I'd like 12. Give me 12.
No, you know what? You don't want it to suffer from the Netflix middle sag, right? Like where, oh, the beginning is so good, oh, and the ending is so good, but there's that long, slow dirge that sometimes happened with the Marvel Netflix stuff where it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we set that character up just so that we could see their little dumb arc that didn't have any bearing on the rest of the show. Let's just move on.
Right,
So
right.
I'm okay if 9 episodes is how they can tell a good, concise, clean story, then boom,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And if you were out there at home going, it's probably too kid friendly. Not really. There's some moments in there where you're like, oh, like that. I'll just say the door. You know the door.
Yes.
You're like, oh, okay. I mean, a lot of it's implied. It's not like a very bloody show. or anything,
it's
but,
noise. Yeah.
but they're not afraid to sort of go. Think episode 4. And the grittiness of episode 4, and that's what they're giving us. It's very, very good. And oh my gosh, it feels like a gift. It feels like Christmas it feels like a Christmas a month early. All right.
Right. I like, by the way, and again, no spoiler. I like all the stuff hanging out in the back, the basement of his ship.
Yeah. Yeah. How cool was that?
Right, it's like a little, little archive.
He's got a whole like deck of cards, if you will, down back
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
If
good.
cards were huge and heavy
Okay,
and made of a
Right.
certain thing. All right, I'll shut up.
Yeah.
And now this.
Say, gang, here's some razzle-dazzle news to flash to Mom.
Here's the news brought to you by.
Brought to you by America's Next Top Podcaster. Big news coming tomorrow. We'll talk about it on TMS PM tomorrow. But in the meantime, the next episode should be coming out today. Hammond is working diligently on getting the current stuff edited so you can hear how folks did with their daily news and commentary episodes of America's Next Top Podcaster. A brilliant challenge devised by our very own Mr. Thomas Merritt.
Yeah, a tricky one too.
A very tricky one.
Yeah, it was interesting. One of them really stood out for me and did great. Anyway, you'll wanna check that one out. That was a fun one to judge because, we know a little something about doing a daily show,
That's right.
and I got to chime in
As
that
does,
regard.
Jury and
Yeah, he knows about it. So, and then you play this when he gets out of here. Oh, that's not what I was supposed to play. Oh, but that's for him. That's for him. I got it. Whenever we talk about Democratic debates, you play this.
Debate.
See?
Look around you, all you see are sympathetic eyes.
Something with your hairy
Roll around
thighs.
the grounds until you feel at home. Cuckoo, ka-choo, Mrs. Robinson.
The jury will now retire.
All right, he's out. Let's do news. Here's a story for you to start things off in the way that we love to, and that is a prisoner who briefly died argues that he has now served his life sentence.
Ooh,
yeah.
well, interesting.
Yeah, complicating the waters here a little bit.
Loophole. Yeah,
Cindy Parkhouse, local and longtime fan.
that's not the prisoner.
No.
That's not the prisoner's name.
No, this
is
is
the
Cindy
tadpooler.
who sent the tadpooler who sent me this article. She's awesome. She's the one that takes care of my eyeballs when I go to the eye doctor. Anyway, what does it mean to complete a sentence of life in prison? One prisoner claims he's done it by serving the time until the moment of his death, plus another 4 years since, and says it is well past time to set him free. The prisoner's name is Benjamin Schreiber. He made that argument to an appeals court in Iowa, saying that he briefly died in 2015 before being revived at a hospital. He completed his obligation to the state. Therefore, he asked the 3-judge panel to let him go on with his life. The judges rejected the argument, ruling that a lower court had been right to dismiss this petition. Here's what Judge Amanda Potterfield wrote to the court. Quote, Schreiber is either still alive, in which case he must remain in prison, or he is actually dead, in which case this appeal is moot.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Makes sense, right? I think
Yeah.
that makes
What
sense.
if he's mostly dead?
Mostly. Schreiber, 66, age 66, was sentenced to life without parole after being convicted of murder for killing a man with the handle of an axe in 1996. Jeez.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, keep him in there.
Keep him in there. That's gnarly.
At least that's very nice of him to use the handle and not the business end of the axe, I
I
guess.
guess so. Same result, though. I don't know.
Probably takes a lot longer with the handle than it would with the other end.
Probably less messy, too. It's just contusions. And yeah.
No, the blade end was stuck in his wife over there, and
You
all
know,
I had was the handle.
he had other plans for it.
Yeah.
It says here he has filed several unsuccessful appeals, but in 2018, this was last year, he argued in court that he had been resuscitated against his will, and that because he had, his sentence has expired. How do you know it was against his will, though? How does he express that if he's unconscious?
Only if he's got one of those no heroic measures, a do not resuscitate, DNR.
Yeah.
Is-
So if you don't have that, how are you even arguing? Is he saying that in his head he resisted it, didn't want to do it?
No, that would be the only way he'd be able to defend his claim of, well, I was dead, I served my time, and I thought I was a free dead man, and then they brought me back to life, and now I'm in prison again.
I thought I was a free dead man.
I thought I was a free dead man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way you're free if you're dead, but
Sure.
it's a way of looking at it. Anyway, I don't think he's getting out of prison is my point. I think he's
No, I
stuck
don't
there
think
for a
so.
while.
I think he's
He might be. Here's another great one today. Man claims he got high from McDonald's tea that he allegedly found weed in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right? Parrish Brown is the guy's name. Says the first time he ever had weed was at McDonald's. He says he had never had any kind of experience with marijuana until a couple of weeks ago. Not only that, but the 24-year-old said he had to call his dad, his boss, and the cops so he could tell them that he was high as a kite. He had to tell them all that. He had to call them up and say, guys, I'm high as a kite.
Yeah.
Dad,
I'm so sorry. I know I said I'd never do drugs, but just had weed in my tea.
I had tea weed.
McDonald's.
I had tea weed. According to the
I had
island...
Kush.
According to the Island Packet. That's a paper, I guess. The Island
I guess
Packet.
so. I've never been to the Island Packet. South Carolina. Huh. I haven't been to Hilton Head. I've been to what is the big what's the big it was like an MTV resort thing down there.
Right.
Beach.
That's
what is the
right on the tip of my unit.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember it.
Brian Dunaway would be able to tell me.
He'd know, right? Because he likes stupid things like MTV. He'd know.
Myrtle Beach. Thank you, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle.
I've been to the Myrtle Beach newspaper.
Myrtle Beach.
And I've been to the Charleston Post and Courier, I think.
I think the Island Packet is what Charlie was finding in those broken Mother of Mary dolls or whatever on Lost.
Oh, that's right.
That's an Island Packet.
Those are Island Packets.
Yeah, not weed.
Locke, give me my weed.
Give me my weed.
It's not Penny's boat.
This post-it note says so.
Says it right here on my hand.
Oh yeah, it was his hand. I keep thinking it was a post-it note.
No, he wrote it on his hand with a Sharpie that can write underwater, apparently.
Yeah.
And no, I guess he wrote it before the water level had gotten up.
Then that was it, right?
That was it. That was the end of Charlie.
Him and Kate's, what's her name? I forgot her real name. Are they still a real life couple? They're still together, married, I think. Did you know about that, Charlie and Kate?
What?
Yeah.
You talking about the woman who plays Kate, Evangeline Lilly, and Dominic Monaghan?
Yeah, they were a couple, at least all during they met on Lost and then were super
look at
duper
that.
couple.
Yeah, from 2004 to 2009, they are not.
They're not
together
now
anymore.
Oh man, that bums me out.
You all, everybody. You all, everybody.
That kind of bums me out because
that is a really cool. It's like some cool little lost fanfic, right? Is what would it be like if
I always thought he was a little short for a stormtrooper, though. He was pretty short, and she was a lot taller. So
yeah,
maybe that, I don't know if that's a problem or not, but it used to drive me crazy when I was shorter than a girl I was dating, which was hard to do because I was 6'4", and I would find girls sometimes who were like 6'6", and it would intimidate the hell out of me.
Do you? He's in that new Star Wars thing. He's in The Rise of Skywalker. Plays a character named Beaumont.
All right.
He was also in X-Men Origins Wolverine as a character named Chris Bradley.
Okay.
I don't know.
No memory of that.
Oh, Maverick. Okay. Yeah, Maverick, the Marvel character Maverick. That was Dominic Monaghan, really?
I don't remember that.
I don't want to go back and watch that movie, but...
Well, Old Man Logan's good. I want to watch it.
No. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, never mind. No, that movie sucks.
Yeah, that's
That's
Fred Poole.
Yeah, I was thinking you meant Logan, and I love Logan, but man, that first one?
Yeah, no. With the cartoon claws.
Oh, so bad. It was what was the name of the Roger Rabbit claws is what they looked like. They were so bad.
Yeah.
How embarrassing was that? All right. Anyways.
By the way, have you seen his? I'm gonna give you a link. You can put it up in the video. This is Dominic Monaghan's Wikipedia photo.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
All right. Are you sure you're ready? Because here it comes.
Totally ready.
Be ready, Scott.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh my gosh.
That is Dominic Monaghan's Wikipedia photo.
You know, I thought I was ready. I'm not ready for that.
You weren't ready, were you? Yeah.
No, I wasn't at all. He's wearing bunny ears, chat room.
And he's got he's making a really bizarre face.
Where is he, at like a Comic-Con type thing?
I think at a Comic-Con event, yeah, I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, he was a fine hobbit in the day.
Yes.
He was a fine hobbit. Fool of a tool.
A fine hobbit. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a detour from Island Packets.
Yeah, I like that. Enjoyed that, everybody. Now we're back to McDonald's. So according to this dude, He goes through the McDonald's drive-thru in Hilton Head, South Carolina, during a late-night break from work. And he ordered a 10-piece chicken McNuggets. That sounds like the kind of thing you'd get if you had the cravings, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure, yeah.
A double cheeseburger and a sweet tea with light ice and extra lemon. The employee working the window repeated the words extra lemon in an odd voice, he says, before he handed him the drink. So I was like, wink, wink, extra lemon.
Extra lemon, you say, huh?
He says the
Okay.
tea tasted weird, but he was thirsty. He decided to keep drinking it. At some point, though, his attempts to stir it with a straw put a hole through one of the bags of the marijuana. Let's see. Put a hole through one of the 3 bags of marijuana that had been put in the cup. So he's saying that the little tea packets were marijuana packets.
Oh, gotcha. I thought that he was like saying that, they threw some THC oil or something into his, like some, basically melted down some edibles into his tea. But he's saying that they actually gave him the bag.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. And it was like...
I was wondering why my McDonald's tea cost me $35.
Why I have to deal with a dealer to get any McDonald's food anymore. Weird.
That's right, exactly.
Says it tasted weird. He recognized it. He got stoned. Now he's mad. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think he got it from McDonald's. I think he did it.
So, okay. So he definitely found weed.
He says
But
he
did
did.
it come from... Yeah.
He says he did. I think it's his. I think he's
Oh,
smoked.
no. Let me rephrase that. There's definitely weed. Like there was a bag of weed somehow in his cup or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I just think it's
okay.
his.
I thought he just like hadn't had caffeine before and thought he was high. Like, whoa, what is this feeling?
You imagine somebody.
Dad, I think I'm high.
Dad, I gotta go. I gotta call my boss and tell him the same thing. Hey, boss, I think I'm high. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta call my friends because it sounds like he called everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
His dad, his
Write
boss.
down
Oh,
his
and the
contact.
cops. He called the cops. Jeez. All right. I think he did it to himself. Whatever. I don't believe anyone anymore. Ace in our Discord sent this.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Days of Our Lives news. Everybody, finally, we can get to the real issues of the day. Days of Our Lives, the long-running soap opera that's been on the air since, what, like 1962 or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
The entire cast has been released from contract. Does that mean the end is nigh for Days of Our Lives?
No.
Oh, like sand through the hourglass. Maybe they're out of sand.
They're out of sand. They need to turn the hourglass over, and that's going to take a little while. So, because that thing is just, glued down to its surface.
Of course. Brian and I have some connection to this because for some reason, in our late teens, it became very popular for everyone to watch Days of Our Lives.
It was Denver University. I was at the University of Colorado at Denver, where we were living. But like the Colorado Institute of Art folks got basically half of the 4th floor in the North Tower of the University of Colorado dorms. So we were like all the artists all clustered in one little area, but then you had all the other guys who were there for hotel and restaurant management and accounting and stuff like that.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, everybody there got us all hooked on freaking Days of Our Lives. It was like, all right, at 3 o'clock, everybody, we're going to meet in Jeffrey's room. All right, cool. We're going to go watch. And we all
Yep. I remember
watched Patch and Kayla.
I remember in like my senior year of high school coming home as fast as I could because my sisters and I were going to sit down and watch that damn thing. I don't know what the deal was. We were all into it. It was that
here's
Bo
the
and
thing.
Hope and
Patch and Kayla and
Oh, my
Roman
God.
and Marlena.
Patch and
And,
Kayla, dude. Patch.
Patch. And Victor Kiriakis.
Yeah, Victor Kiriakis, who is actually
Rachel's dad.
yeah, Jennifer Aniston's real dad.
Right.
Oh, he could confirm the milk breath probably. But anyway,
Now here's the thing. Mrs. Crazy Neighbors still watches it.
of course. How does she feel about this turn of events? Do you know?
Well, you know the full story. It's sensationalized. Here's the deal. They've recorded enough episodes, pre-recorded enough episodes that they don't need to film another episode until early next year. So it's not that they're done with Days of Our Lives. It's that, you know what? We've got a nice little backlog. Why don't you guys take the rest of the year off? A little bit of 2020. Go do some soap opera conventions and that sort of thing. And we'll see you back here in the spring and we'll record some more of this bullshit.
Yeah, more of this horrible thing. Are there still daytime Emmys? Is that still a thing that
Yeah,
people do?
yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard about that in so long.
I know. Yeah, no, they because Ellen wins every year.
That's true, right? She just wins that every
I
time.
think so. I think like Price is Right and Ellen are like the and Susan Lucci finally won. Finally,
Oh, she did? They finally put that to bed?
they finally gave Susan Lucci an award. Yes,
I mean, was it
after
posthumously? She's
14
still
or
around?
21,
She's still here.
21, I think.
She lives?
Oh yeah, no,
She
she's
lives?
still around. She's still on the damn show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she 21 times of being nominated and not winning, and then she finally won on the 22nd or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah, and Lon makes yes, Patch has an eye patch or has. He might be back on.
Oh, you
Here's
totally
the
had a
thing.
patch. That was the whole idea. Is the reason they called him
Yeah.
Patch. He was a bad boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He was the renegade, and Kayla loved him anyway, and
Yeah, she
tried
was-
to soften the beast.
Yeah, she worked really hard to make it so that somehow it all worked out, but it didn't.
That's right.
This is
Jack and Jennifer and Justin.
this is what they said this year about the future of the project. Okay, so here it is right here.
I don't know if I want to call it a labor of love after this year.
Yeah. You can see where they're coming from. You know,
Totally can see where they're
spokesman
coming from.
Todd Cochran has stepped up to the mic and told everybody
That's
what's
right.
up.
Exactly. So don't worry, Days fans out there. You won't see a blip in the in the programming. What might be weird is that Roman Brady will come back and have a huge gut
Yep.
between two episodes,
Yep.
and Jack Kiriakis or Jack Devereaux might actually have a beard when like from one episode to the next he might have a beard.
Are those people still on there? Like those names that you
Yes.
just said? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Tina's been waiting for a work change. Like there's the company that she's at is moving from one vendor or supplier to another. And so there's this little gap. So she's been taking advantage of that time to kind of do some stuff in the house that we've been needing to do and knock out a jigsaw puzzle or two, whatever.
Sure.
And so middle of the day, she'll be catching up on the TV shows that she watches, Grey's Anatomy and
Mhm.
this New Amsterdam show that she really likes, Million Little Things she really likes.
Yeah.
And so between shows, she'll hit live on the TiVo to go to whatever's currently live on TV. And it happens to be Days of Our Lives while I'm up there making lunch.
Oh my gosh.
And I look at I look at and say, oh my God, is that Jennifer? What the heck was her last name? It wasn't a Devereaux. She wasn't a Kiriakis,
It's something else.
but she was the cute blonde girl on there when we were watching it in the 80s. Is still friggin' on there. And
Why is hold on? You're breaking up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
that.
I don't know what that is. I feel like. Hold on. I have an idea.
Horton.
Hold on. He yells Hort. So I got to reload it. Sorry, hang on. You can't hear me. I think Discord's just taking a dump. Oh, that's wonderful. Let me.
Is back on. but
Okay,
he's
we're
playing a
back.
different character.
We're back now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. You
Oh, I
were
didn't
you were
realize
silenced for a moment. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You're back.
But like the
Anyway.
actor who plays Jack Koskachek is back on there, but he's playing a different character. And Jennifer Horton, that actress, is still on there. The guy who plays it's Jack Devereaux. He's still on there. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that is weird to me. I assumed it was all
Absolutely
new
crazy.
cast, new stuff, new stories, new. I mean, that's an anomaly. I feel like daytime television drama stuff that has to be on its last legs, right? And then one day we'll
Has to
look
be.
back and go, "What was that even about?" 30-year run of 30 years of the same people. Like you and I. The Kiriakis, like Jennifer Aniston's dad is still on the show. Is what you're telling me?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's still on. I didn't see him in the 3 or 4 minutes that we watched, but we did watch someone push Jennifer Horton out of a window at her wedding. So
That's
wedding
amazing.
to Jack Devereaux, who I thought she married like in 1986. So I don't even know. I don't even know how this is possible.
Here he is, John Aniston, American actor, best known for his role as Victor Kiriakis on the daytime drama series blah blah blah. He is the father of Jennifer Aniston. He's still here. 1933 he was born. I don't know when he last was on there, but let's find out. This is fun. This is a fun turn
This is a
into
fun walk. Yeah.
yeah. All right,
I
here
do
we
want
go.
to talk about this last story because I have a very funny thing to say that I've been sitting on for 2 days.
Oh, I like it when you have a funny thing to say. All right, let's see. Days of Our Lives. He's still in.
Is he still on the show?
Still going. 2019. Yep. Still on there.
Still wreaking havoc in Salem, behind the scenes in the seedy underground of Salem, Massachusetts.
Look at all his guest stuff he's done. He was on Mad Men. He was on.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was on American Dreams. He was on Big Fat Greek Life. He was on Gilmore Girls, West Wing, Star Trek Voyager, L.A. Heat, Airwolf, Kojak. I mean, it goes way back. But
Wow.
he does other stuff. Well done. I wonder how it feels a little good like Thanksgiving and know that your daughter's worth like $400 billion more than you are.
You know what? If Tristan were to do something like that and be just this mega star, whatever, I'd be totally happy for him.
No, I would be
Whatever.
too.
Like,
Yeah, he's going to
you'd
retire
be
me.
too. It was Carter, and you'd enjoy that Thanksgiving meal with your crazy successful offspring.
I want my offspring to retire me. I have no pride. I don't
Sure.
care. Let's do it.
Who doesn't?
She is going to be big. She's going to do something amazing. All right. So Brian, we're going to read this last
Yes.
story that you've
Oh,
been,
good.
you've been holding in there on this. Blam Pop sent this in, also on our Discord. Join our Discord if you haven't. It's over at frogpants.com/TMS. You guys should be a part of that. Tarzan's Treehouse Emergency closes at Disneyland.
Ooh.
Not the ride isn't called Tarzan's Treehouse Emergency. It's just Tarzan's Treehouse.
Just Tarzan's Treehouse. Used to be the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, and then they rebranded it as Tarzan.
Correct, which
And
I think is at the core of the problem here, right? It's old.
Well, that, and I think Phil Collins lives up there. Yeah.
Son of Man, he's up there singing.
That's right.
Oh, I love that. I love that album.
Hi, I'm Phil Collins. Would you like a chocolate?
Hello. I
Fresh
was
baked
on
muffin?
yeah. I was on Miami Vice for a long time. I don't know why that's his voice. Anyway, tonight around 4:45, this is the other day, so it's not really tonight. An incident occurred at Tarzan's Treehouse in Adventureland and Disneyland, causing the attraction to close and cast members to respond urgently. The attraction was evacuated and guests kept away from the entry of the treehouse. It appears that someone jumped on the rope bridge with enough force to break a slat, causing a dangerous fall potential. Guests in the area could hear the snapping of the board, which has now become, and have now become aware of the situation.
Reports say that it was a small Asian boy in a baseball uniform saying, "Look, very sturdy, very sturdy." Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
You know, if you'd have said before the show, percentage chance that Temple of Doom will make an appearance today,
Short round would make an appearance.
I would have had a very low odds. There's no way I would have thought that was going to happen. Anyway, nobody got hurt or anything, but now there's like the thread I followed. There's all this freak out.
I know. You look at the photo, and it is it's a board that's not even broken out all the way, but it's broken. No argument there, and but it's only like a 4-inch wide board.
Right.
So somebody's not going to fall through that unless it's a really tiny, thin person.
Right. Somebody like Short Round.
Somebody like Short Round.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even Willie Scott. I don't know.
Yeah, well done. Oh yeah, that'd be great if she fell. She drove me crazy. But yeah, like the thread I was reading was like, oh, this is like the rest of the park. You can't see it because of the artifice, but there's a lot of stuff just breaking down. It's a danger hole. And I'm like, I think you're taking it a little far. One little piece of a thing broke. No big deal.
That's right. Exactly.
They'll fix it. I'm glad you got to get out your Short Round joke, though. That was good.
Thanks. Yeah. In hindsight, I wish I would have looked up his actual quotes and been able to say those. But that's all right. That's all right.
Well, you may have mistaken it and said, "No time for romance, Dr. Jones," or something like that.
That's right. No time for love, Dr. Sleep. No, that's not it either.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Sleep. Oh, is that out? That's out. I got to see
It's
that.
out. It's out.
I got to see that. All
I was
right.
hoping to go see it today, but Tristan hasn't seen The Shining yet. I might take him.
Oh, yeah. He should watch The Shining.
You should watch The Shining.
Ahead of
That's
that.
what I'm
That would be. Oh, I feel like maybe rewatching The Shining just before.
Sure.
Why not? That's a good movie.
Sure. Yeah, it is a good movie.
I think it is. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister will be here, Wendy, the therapist. We're going to talk about dealing with grief in an online community, which is what we're going to do today. So that's coming up right after this break. This break being a song, Brian being the guy who has it. What is our song?
Oh, our song is great, Scott. This is a band called Nous or Nous, Nous. So if it's the French pronunciation, probably Nous. This is an experimental music project out of New York that's led by producer and composer Christopher Bono, and it's him on keyboards, electronics, percussion, and vocals. Greg Fox also on drums, percussion, electronics. Thor Harris, Shazad Ismaili, and Greg McMurray on guitar. The song we're playing is instrumental, but there are some other tracks that have some vocals. This is really like if you're thinking, oh my god, experimental, instrumental, classical influenced. Thank you. No.
Yeah.
Boy, are you about to be taught a lesson in your naysaying, Mister
Wow.
or ma'am
Or ma'am.
or ma'am.
Yeah.
No, this is great stuff. It's very cool. Not ambient like airy and fluid and loose and without structure. It's got some good structure to it, but it's ambient and like, oh, this is like you can close your eyes and be like in a completely different place listening to it. It's great. It's really good stuff. The brand new album is called Nous 2, Nous 2. Comes out when does it come out? It comes out.
Oot.
Do I have a date? I don't know if I have a date.
You don't have
I
a
don't
date?
think oh, here we go. December 6th.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yes, so December 6th it comes out. Make sure you check it out if you like it. I like it. Here it is. Here is Nightingale by Nous.
Living rooms, bedrooms, dinettes. Oh yeah, you can find them at the market. We talking about flea market. Montgomery, it's just like a mini mall.
Back to Pokemon Go.
Off, hairball. This is the morning stream.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. I love this lady.
Back to Pokemon Go.
I miss her. I wish she would get up in front of a city council again and say stupid things.
The Pokemon Go.
Now back to the Pokemon Go. It's destroying our children.
Back to Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
She sucks.
Do you think she really doesn't know the name of it, or do you think that she's like Snoopy poop dogging it? Like she's like, I don't know what this crazy Pokemon Go is thing, but
Well, originally, okay, so in this clip,
So there's a plethora of things that I could, but I'm going to get right to the Pokemon Go.
so she gets it right that time.
Yeah,
Pokemon Go.
yeah, boy, could you say it with any more labor?
Yeah, but then later she goes,
Pokemon Go.
Mango.
Mango.
Neither are good for ordering a mango, by the way.
That's right. No,
I want a Mongo, I want a mango, or I want a mango.
Pokemongo.
Pokemongo. All right. Wendy time. Wendy Mongo. Let's get her in here. Let's see. Boy, Discord's being really weird today. Just being funky performance and stuff. I don't know.
Figure it out, Discord.
You know what it might be? I have too many
With your
servers. I need to
stuff.
leave a bunch of servers because maybe I've just got too many and it's causing it to just eat all the memory. I don't know.
I have that same problem.
Oh, you do you?
Too many servers.
Too many servers, not enough time. Hey,
you have
look.
a secret server?
No, I don't have one. With my emails on my 30,000 emails on it? No. I don't have that.
Find emails.
Find them. Let me know when you get them. Okay, here's this.
Something wrong, Batman?
Has anybody seen Wendy?
Barnacles in a wad.
Hey, it's my sister Wendy, a therapist. It's a Therapy Thursday day. She's on the show with us. You sound very mellow today. How's things in Minnesota? How you doing?
Good. We're warming up
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, we had that little fun freeze everybody had, and it was
That messed you
5
guys
degrees
up?
the
Did
other
you have
morning.
to deal with a bunch of snow removal and all that?
We don't
or-
have a ton of snow. We have a little bit, like maybe a quarter of an inch. It's not bad, but
And they don't
it's just
cancel
kinda
school.
pretty.
You'd have to have full-on apocalypse blizzard to cancel school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and then like minus 40 because kids will freeze at bus stops. So that's when they cancel.
Oh, yeah. At minus
There's like
40?
There's like a 15-minute window before you get frostbite at a certain temperature. I think it's minus, I forget, 25 or something.
Wow.
So whenever we hit that, they'll cancel.
I can't even, I mean, it's so
We're
different.
hardy folk.
You
over
are hardy
here.
folk. You have to be, I guess, right? To live
Listen,
in that.
I'm the only one that's cold. My whole family, I'm not kidding. I am yelling at my kids not to wear shorts something is wrong with them. I don't.
You get this
I don't
from
understand
you.
it.
All right.
Yeah, kids do that though.
But you get your cold. You get cold all the time because mom. You have weird mom genes. Mom has that.
And you don't.
I don't. I don't get cold very often. It's weird.
You have other weird mom genes. Is what I'm
I
saying.
have mom's other weird genes, but the one pair of jeans I didn't get were the ones that made me want to wear pants all year. Like I want to wear shorts now, and it's cold. I shouldn't wear shorts today, but I want to.
It's such a weird. I don't get it. My husband has the same problem too. He has literally. We lived in Vermont. It's colder than here.
Yeah.
In Sweden, the dude has never owned a coat. He has like a jacket. He's like, "Ooh, should I take a jacket today?" I'm like, "It is -20. It doesn't matter. It's so weird."
I know why. Because he's all furry under there. I've seen him.
He's furry and a little fat.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
I've seen him at the pool. He's got plenty of insulation. Anyway, it's good.
true.
It's
I
good to
thought
have
of
you
that.
here. So we're gonna dive into a topic that hits pretty close to home. We weren't really able to talk about it in detail yesterday, although we alluded to it at the top of the show. But we can now sort of talk about it a little bit more openly, and then what I'm hoping is maybe we can have a conversation about how to deal with it on the level that we're dealing with it, and so on. So we had a very active member of our community, the Tadpole, the Frog Pants community, whatever you want to call it, pass away the other day suddenly and without much warning. It was a complication due to just an appendicitis surgery.
Well, it was a brain bleed.
Was it a result of the surgery, or do we know?
It was I think it was unrelated, but she wasn't recovering as well from the appendix surgery, and then went back to the hospital for another, or because she was having these other symptoms, and it turned out to be a brain bleed.
Right, and in the end, they couldn't save her. She has a young son. Her name is Danny Workman, and she's amazing and has been for years. She would come to Nerdtacular. She's a local here. I think they live just West Jordan, maybe 15 minutes from me or something. So it's all hitting very close to home, like literally in this case. She's also the person back in it was either 2015 or 2017's Nerdtacular. I can't remember, but one of those 2 years, we had somebody who was from out of town who did not take well to the altitude.
Right. The altitude, yeah.
It was really bad, and as a result of that, she ended up in the
Tracy
hospital.
Haley, yeah.
Tracy Haley, and she ended up in the hospital. What I didn't know was true at the time, and I knew Danny and had met her a bunch of times, and super friendly and all of that. But what I didn't know is because Tracy ended up getting stuck in a Salt Lake City hospital for a couple of days. We ran some stuff out to her and, tried to keep in touch, make sure she was okay before she flew home and all that other stuff. But I didn't know this. Danny went out there and spent like hours that night with her, just stayed with her. And, for all intents and purposes, strangers up until that event, but took her time to go, help somebody. And in the Tadpole, she was extremely active in the conversations and the backs and forth. She wrote a book about depression and about anxiety and about stuff like that, and how she's worked to overcome those things. Which
she was helping a lot of people who were suffering from those same kinds of things in the Tadpole, like Tanner, for example.
Right.
She was always checking in on Tina when Tina was going through chemo and radiation, and
just always reaching out, always just the sweetest person. And she loved that son. They were always together. He came to that last Nerdtacular with her, and they were adorable together. And he just seemed to be having the best time, at this big nerd event. Anyway, so all of these things have combined to just make it very personal. And we've lost people in the community before, and varying degrees of knowing who they were or whatever. But for some reason, this one feels pretty hardcore. And so I thought, hey, let's reach out to Wendy and make today's topic about not so much general grief, dealing with grief, because we've done that before, but how do you deal with it within the context of this kind of community, which is kind of a weird thing to start with. It's, constructed of a whole bunch of people in lots of different places all come together for one reason or another, but now they're kind of a weird extended family in a way, and they come to rely on each other. Some of them meet each other and get married. Some of them have friends for life from this. Some people, fight and burn out from it like real families. And so I think it's been harder this time for me in particular, but or at least I can only speak for myself. But this has been harder for me given her proximity and and I actually feel like I can actually do something here. So
This one, tough. Zoe's or Mary Ailes passing a couple months back was a tough one, just because of her connections with Tina and
right.
and me, and even Anar, actually, in a weird way. They've all been. I mean, they've all been tough. Ralphie, for example, and
Ralph
Blake
about killed
a couple of years ago. Blake Edlund, and
yeah. So this is nothing. It's not like we're new to this. The Ralph one probably was the hardest I ever had to deal with, because I talk to that guy every day. But I guess methods that unusual communities like ours can use to sort of work with each other. I mean, there's a GoFundMe up to help with funeral expenses and to help the family and that sort of thing. And, all the standard stuff is being done. Kim and I are going to see what we can do here on the ground. Can we take them food? Can we, drive somebody somewhere? Can we, we want to be at the funeral. Like, we want to do what we can here since we can. But none of it feels like enough. So I guess I'll throw it to you, Wendy. What would be your advice to those in our community affected by this particular loss? And I guess, what can we learn from it?
Well, I think you guys have already done all the right things and will continue to do the right things as grieving goes, right? Which is, there's something in us that needs to do something. So that impulse you're talking about, right? Like, I need to do something, even if I could just drive someone somewhere, or feeding somebody, will scratch that itch of like, I want to do something. And that impulse is one of the best parts about us as humans, right? Which is that, we're all just kind of living in denial of reality all the time. Like, we all get in our killing machines and drive around, and like there's a lot that we're not conscious of every day. We're not having existential crises every moment, which we probably should, right? And that level of sort of obtuseness is actually advantageous, because we can get our stuff done, feed our families, live our lives. And when that's interrupted, and a death or an illness that strikes suddenly, or something that just wakes us up from the, whoa, life is not just moving ahead, it's very fragile. We have a lot of interesting responses. Chemically, we slow down. I mean, I think even how I started this call, I forgot that's what we were going to talk about. So I'm like, happy, and then I'm like, oh, wrong
day.
Yeah. Because it does. It's a much more, we respond in the ways we respond for good reasons, because it is a change in reality. And then, of course, empathy that gets extended to this little boy, or to the family, or to, all the people in the community. All of those are good things. They're human things. They're important things. And I think, and maybe I'll get more directly to your question, but I do want to just caution against the thing that I think is what's dangerous about modern life and grief. It's probably always been a problem for various reasons. I think modern life has its own challenges. But you guys are a community of people that only knows each other because of modern life, right?
Yeah,
you have access to each other, and bonding and connection and friendship, and you can see the other's good deed when no one's looking, because there's witnesses to it, and you communicate, and you're a text away, all of those various things that makes you a family. So you should have normal grief response, as any family would.
Right.
The challenge might be, though, we've always had this challenge, I think, is, well, certain cultures for sure, of hiding grief, or swallowing it, or having this idea that it only should take a certain amount of time. Like, oh, you've been grieving for a year for that? Wow, that's too long. Or, we have maybe arbitrary ideas of what things are supposed to look like, or what's appropriate. But if you go back to any time in life where, like the widow would wear black for a certain period of time, we've always had kind of societal ideas of what grief should look like. And some cultures have very different versions of this. I can't think of if it's China or no, where they mummify the body basically and keep it's not China, I forget where it is. And they keep it for years, the body of their loved one nearby.
Right.
And so you have just lots and lots of versions with lots of belief systems that can affect how people do this. But getting back to you guys and this urge to do something, I think when you have the urge to do something, the healthiest thing to do is do something. And if you can't be done for that particular person because it's impossible, then take that urge and do it for someone else in your life. Like,
Right.
don't let that energy just dissipate. It will, right? It
Right.
always does.
Right.
Eventually you get busy and start living your life. But there's a lot of benefit to letting whatever emotions come because they will go, rather than stuffing it. I think that's a really common thing. And so someone might say, well, maybe I shouldn't feel this sad because I didn't really know her. Or, there could be complex reasons why grieving is just scary or not allowed. And you may find, oh, well, it's not even someone I know. Why do I feel this way? Trust the way you feel. Like, if it rises in you, there's a reason. Maybe it's just that there's some emotion that needs to get out in your life and you don't need to overthink it. But like, trusting that your system is perfectly made in order to process grief. Small children get this. They cry, they feel better, right?
Yeah.
They don't know yet, if they have been allowed to just feel and cry and be sad, whatever it is they feel, they let it out and then they move on. And you notice how they can just skip away. And you're like, wow, it has something to do with, first of all, they're innocent. They don't know there's all sorts of societal rules, but they have the benefit of the biological benefit of crying.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that when Dad died, Taylor was 6? She didn't really even know what the heck was going on, but she knew she felt, profoundly sad about all of it, and she just let it rip. And I remember that cry being like really long, hard, and cathartic, because by the end of it, she was clearly in a better little emotional place and could talk about it and stuff. But before that, it was like harder. It was hard to even help her understand it. But by the time we got around to the funeral, she just had lost it. And that seemed like a good thing for her to filter that out. So yeah, I admire people who can, like Carter's this way. She'll cry at anything. You tell her a story like, there's a Simpsons episode where Homer, this is so funny to me, because she'll bawl her eyes out if I even tell her the story. She doesn't have to see the episode. You just have to bring it up and she'll tear up and smack me in the arm because she knows what I'm doing. I'm kind of manipulating her emotions. But there's this episode where Homer has to keep working forever at the plant.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
he's got this little sign on this big complicated control board that just like a little note that says "Do it for her," because he's thinking about Maggie.
Right.
And
it's like he's scratched out enough letters to where it says "Do it for her," but it said something else originally.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which made it even more poignant. So
Yes.
basically just focused all this negative into, well, this is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for this, for my daughter. And she can't even be told this. Like right now, if she was in this room, she'd be crying all over the place, crocodile tears.
Aww.
So sometimes I wish I was more like that. I wish I could just let that stuff out. Instead, you go to like a Pixar movie and you spend 10 minutes in pain, trying to figure out why you, and then finally you're like, blah, blah, you start blubbering finally, and then you just feel awkward and weird and hope that never happens again. But some people can just let it roll, and I admire that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, and there's therapeutic value to it. And let's take this to the communal level, because you guys are experiencing it more on a communal level than individual grief, in the sense of there is individual grief, of course, with any loss. But when you have a group to grieve with, it's so much more powerful. And what it is ultimately is it gives us something you can't get when you grieve by yourself, because you're getting acknowledgement, validation. Someone is witnessing your grief. It allows you to experience healing that's just kind of faster and deeper than if you're trying to do this on your own.
Right.
And so the impulse is so interesting. The impulse to cry, or the impulse to share your pain with someone else, gets stifled for people for various reasons. So take a child. So I have a very emotional young man that lives in my house. And he saw a homeless woman with a child begging, and he sobbed for 4 hours.
Oh.
He could not, he gives money to people all the time. That's like his thing. And he's usually a little sad for a while, but she had a kid and he could not deal. And I spent 3 of those hours talking through with him and just holding him. And it's like the world cracked open. He didn't know that you could have this exist on Earth, you know? And so my challenge constantly is, how do I protect him from the soul crushing nature of Earth, or, you know, but to keep this as well, like, you know, but if I said, shut your boobin, go to bed, you know, I could shut that down really quickly. And the message would be, not to say I'm perfect at this, trust me, I'm not, but the message is like, those feelings are not valid. I mean, he was grieving a world he thought was safe, is really what he was grieving.
Yeah.
And so I could shut them down. And then what's the message in my home growing up would be, it's not okay to have your feelings. So what do you then take out into the world? It's not okay to have these feelings. So we drink them away, we shove them down, we do whatever. And then healthy grief has lost its role. And so that's one idea. Another being just, I mean, I've heard of this at various workplaces where there's a loss and it's like a week later, they've finished up their paid time off and they have to go back to work, and everyone's like, okay, and we're done. You know, like we're not great at this to grieve in some kind of public way, or even say the right thing. I mean, I think this is, you know, comes with the territory, but part of why maybe we're not great at it is that we're not great giving ourselves permission either. And so this communal facet is really powerful if you utilize it, because it's others sharing the same feeling at the same time. It's validating. It's all those good things. So it's a good thing.
And there is a lot of that happening today and yesterday. There's a lot of people. There's just a lot of rallying, and, you know, what can we do? And people are being very generous on the GoFundMe, and like there's you know, there's a lot of that happening, and that is cathartic. Like, it's nice to see. I see it and go, yeah, we take care of each other. Like, this isn't just fly by night. Hey, we're all on the internet. How's it going? You know, ephemeral relationship stuff. Like, there's real connections here, and it's nice to see that. You know, it still feels a little bit like there are going to be people, especially I heard from somebody in Australia who really was close to Danny, and that person has expressed, you know, how frustrating it can be to be this far away. Like, he just can't do anything. And that's the other thing that's unusual about the world we live in now. Back in the day, you know, somebody in the village was hurt. Everybody kicked into gear, did what they had to do, rushed around, and, you know, you were all within a horse clop away. Like, you just weren't far from each other. In this case, there are people who are, you know, 5,000 miles away, who are as concerned as you are, but feel helpless, like they can't do anything. And that's frustrating. So I guess what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they should still, those feelings they have, those are real feelings, and they should not
give
try
themselves permission to express
them.
them.
Give themselves permission to express them. But how do they deal with the frustration of distance and you know, helplessness and that sort of thing? Like, is there any more we can say about that?
I mean, I think that GoFundMe is an example of a way to do that. It gives you something to do, even though it may not feel like enough. But and here's where that impulse, I mean, it is so frustrating to not be able to do something, and yet, like, think about it. What can you do? There may be something you can actually do that's directly connected to Danny. But if there is not, and you really are unable to either contribute money, or you're unable to write in the group or a note to the family or something, and you don't feel like you're doing enough, then find a way to do something where you live. So one idea, and this might sound like a little too much, I don't know, but to find out in your communities, because these exist pretty much everywhere. Find a grief group. Some of them have just like open walk-in type situations, and sometimes you have to register to do them. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But to grieve with others, even just going to a cemetery, some type of ritualistic, it can be communication like a group, or it can be some type of ritualistic sort of grieving process. Like maybe it's some type of personal, not wake, but kind of, where you have your own little moment and you light a candle and you have pictures or letters or, whatever it might be that you read and you allow yourself to feel. So it isn't just that you've got to do something for the family. That impulse is legit. And that's usually how it gets resolved is I bring a meal and I visit but what ends up happening is there's a surge of that, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of dies down. And it's families who are grieving need stuff a lot longer than the surge. So maybe it's that there's more to do later on that's directly with the family. But in the meantime, is there something personal you can do? And this is true for all of us, that the ritualizing of some of this is what makes it powerful. It's not that I lit a candle and I pulled out some letters. It's that I stopped life the way it typically just rolls on. And I gave it a minute and I allowed myself to feel and be in pain or be sad or,
Right.
and if you don't do that, there are consequences to that. And everyone has a different consequence because they may manifest this slightly differently, but some of it is just a doling of emotions. Some can, for folks, pretty severe, leads to depression and other mental health situations. Others is just sort of a closing up that you don't want to get hurt again. So you maybe aren't as open in all your relationships or, that type of thing. There's a lot that can happen with grief that is not allowed to be grieved.
Right.
And so ritualizing gives us a chance, at least, right?
Right.
A funeral is a way we can all gather, and it's communal. And it's this idea that you have a chance to allow yourself to feel, and everyone there knows. So the permission is already granted, if that makes sense.
Right.
So that can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I agree. There is a moment when this is just an example. I'm not trying to make this about us, but when Dad died, for whatever reason, I remember this very clearly. So we were at the hospital. We were watching them go through all the things you do when you're doing emergency resuscitation and all that stuff. That's all a little shocking to watch anyway. And then when they finally, made the pronouncement that he had passed, people were sort of just milling around trying to deal with it. And I went outside and I sat on the curb. And I remember the pants I was wearing, weirdly. I was wearing these weird jeans with a hole in the one knee. And I think it's because I just grabbed whatever I had because we had to rush over to the hospital. It was pretty early that morning. Anyway, I remember you came outside and then you sat on the curb and we just talked about it. And I remember that being one of the most important parts of the process for me, because there was a moment where it just felt like Dad's gone, you're alone, to then Dad's gone, everyone is feeling alone, but guess what? We're not alone, and we can. And I don't even think we talked that much about Dad or the shock of it or the aftermath of it. I think it was just sort of I don't know. It's just a conversation.
Letting you know that you're there for each other.
Yeah, kind of. And it wasn't even anything overtly like, emotional or, any of that. It wasn't very dramatic. It was just, the two pale ones from the family full of Koreans sitting down and finding some solace because other people hadn't arrived yet. Matt was at work and was rushing back and trying to get there. And, we just didn't have everybody there yet. I don't know. There was something about that made that easier for me.
Wendy, is that your origin story, your therapy origin story?
No,
Do you know what is amazing? I have zero memory.
Yeah,
of
I
that.
didn't think you would.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think you would because you rarely remember these things, and also I have ridiculous, overly focused memories of things that no one should remember, like the pants and what hole it had in it. Like, who gives a crap?
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me, but it was just a moment, and it wasn't even that long, but it was just kind of this like, oh yeah, we're all in this together. This isn't a thing I have to do on my own.
Right.
And
right.
I think there's something in that for people, like in this particular case, and even in Danny's case and her family's case, like, small stuff like that makes a huge difference. And we're going to try to do that as much as we can here. It breaks my heart about her son. Like, I can't even imagine what that must have been like. And this all, her last photo on her Facebook page was Halloween, and he's all dressed up and she's all dressed up, and it's a cute little picture of them together. And, it's like this seems like the stupidest thing to ever have happen to anyone. Mm-hmm. As often aneurysm style stuff is, brain bleeds are terrible. And I don't know, I can't stop thinking about all that. But little gestures like that make a huge difference, and that includes, if somebody's in another part of the world and the best they can do is offer some comforting words via Facebook in the Facebook Tadpole group, then so be it. Let that be your way of showing your solidarity and that sort of stuff.
And then go hug somebody that you haven't hugged in a while, like in your own life. I think that impulse is a powerful one, and it's a necessary one, because it's removing us from our strange ritualistic fantasy life of everything is fine and I got to get to work and pay this bill and feed the dog. It's, don't let it pass without doing something of that nature, where maybe you share something that matters to you to someone, or you let someone know you care that maybe you haven't let them know you care in a while. Like it's like a mole. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but and you know what I'm talking about. It's like the world is one thing and then it's suddenly not.
Yeah.
And that reality check, and that the frailty of life and the quickness of all of this, and yet like our connectivity is just, it's such a cool window that only opens here or there.
Right.
It's like take advantage of that.
It's like a twist in a movie, except that you don't have to deal with or you actually have to deal with the consequences of what that twist is. It's like a thing that just upends everything. And when we're being entertained by that, we're like, oh yeah, turns out Bruce Willis was never there the whole time, whatever the twist is. Mm-hmm. But in real life, to have things upended like that, I mean, and especially in the case of her son, I mean, that's just a complete world upending. There's no other way to look at it. And, everything he thought was permanent is not. And I don't know. I really feel for the kid. I don't know what we can do to help him, but anyway.
How old is he?
He's not exactly sure now, but I want to say when I last saw him, he was 8 or 9. So he's probably 10, somewhere in that range, 10, 11. Yeah, just a...
And I don't know if your connection with the family is appropriate, but there is the Sharing Place in Salt Lake City that is amazing. And it's...
Oh, you've talked about that before,
grieving.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
for kids who are grieving. And it's
right.
A therapist who started it. I'm not sure if she's even still alive, but just like it was one of the first in the country. It's really, really good. So a place where all the kids there are grieving.
What's it called
again?
Is
that the Sharing Place?
Sharing Place.
That's the thing you were talking about, just sort of that aloneness, and that's extra suffering that doesn't need to be there.
Right.
But when you're a kid, you are extra alone when it comes to grief, because kids are not experiencing it the same way that adults will, even if their grandparents pass away or whatever. Like there's less support, and kids are dumb that way. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, and let me be quiet. They don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it.
So they go to a place where all the kids are grieving, and they're also having fun and being friends and having a safe place to feel. And so anyway, I'm not sure that's appropriate this minute, but letting them know there's that resource.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can definitely do that. Well, hopefully that is helpful to everybody in our particular circles, but I think this can extend out to others dealing with similar things. And hopefully this advice lands on you in a way that is beneficial during your grieving process. I think it definitely will be for us. Any other final words of wisdom, Wendy? You want to land on us like a giant bomb, like a truth bomb?
No, I'm good.
Do you recommend
now I'm
people?
sad. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Now that we've depressed you thoroughly, let's let me ask you this question real quick.
Yeah.
This is a total break from the conversation, everybody? Okay, so I'm making a hard turn. I just want to ask Wendy this question.
Okay.
Oh, Brian, that's so funny the way you said that. It sounded like this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was gonna say the hearings that are happening. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good for your health or mental health or not to watch those. I had a friend yesterday, John Jagger, said last night during a show recording we were doing. He says to me these words. He says, "You know what? Let me know when there's a result. I don't want to watch this."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good to watch if you're having a hard time sleeping. Would be my answer to that.
Yeah, great idea. So I think I like his advice. Like maybe avoid all this because this is a case of where you really can't do anything other than just watch the crap show happen. Perhaps it's even a necessary crap show, but do you necessarily need to take every second of it in and become glued to your C-SPAN, to do that, or not at all? What would you say? Is he right? Because I think he's right.
Well, I think there's an interesting little blurb on NPR as I was driving somewhere. There were a number of people in DC who gathered in bars, sometimes in the early morning, to watch them together.
Yeah.
And there's something about, and the guy said, I could stay at home and do this and feel terrible, or I can talk to people who think differently than me or agree with me. Actually, it doesn't matter, but we're all having a beer and we're enjoying a little company while we are watching something historic. That was his philosophy. And I think, unless you're going to gather with some people and do it, maybe it's not healthy for you. And even then, I'm not sure all day is healthy for anybody.
Yeah.
But there is something about this is historic and you should be, there's always pressure to you should know. And why don't you know? And honestly, you've got to decide for your own well-being what that looks like. I know for me, I don't watch it. I watch comedians talk about it that night.
Yeah.
And if I want to, and I'll read serious articles and stuff, but I will, I can't, I got too much in my own life and work to do that I cannot just feel anger all the time about something,
Your go-to comedian, which late night?
It's probably John
talk show
Oliver
host
now,
you're
right?
watching?
John Oliver, is he your guy now, or?
I do like John Oliver, but here's the
Yeah.
thing: this is the extent of my time frame / laziness is that I just watch the clips of each of them. So Mashable will have a clip fest of so what's his name? In New
Colbert?
York. Hold on.
Colbert.
No, Colbert. Yeah, so Colbert.
Colbert.
And then, of course, The Daily Show, a little bit
Trevor
here or
Noah,
there.
yeah.
What's his name?
Trevor Noah, he's
Noah.
killing it.
Seth.
Trevor Noah.
Oh.
Trevor Noah's great.
Yeah.
Seth.
Seth
Myers.
Seth Meyers. Some of his stuff just makes me laugh out loud. So anyway,
Yes.
so just enough that I'm oh wow, that happened. The guy's giant Nalgene bottle, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
With the bow tie, that guy. Anyway, so there's a way to sort of engage that's very lighthearted that I do because that's what I can handle right now. But other people, it may be they can't separate what they need to do in their day from this, and that might be a sign that it's not great,
Yeah.
So it's just relative, I think, but probably smart if you're, I don't know, if you can't take it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's good advice. That's what Carter
It's
said.
a good way to digest it though in those small little chunks.
Yeah, plus then you can laugh, and laughter's a pretty good coating on hard topics. Carter says, she goes anything I ever want to do with that stuff, I need to hear it through John Oliver, and I think she's probably onto something. All right.
Real quick, if anyone needs a good cry and needs to feel like death is imminent and life is very fragile, there is a book called Being Mortal. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
By Atul
No.
Gawande.
Mm-mm.
Oh my.
Really?
Yeah, maybe we should have a book club about it. Oh.
Is it good? I
Anyway,
mean, what are you saying?
So instead of watching the impeachment, I'm listening to this book, and it's fascinating, and it's an amazing critique of sort of end of life care in the United States in particular, and it is something else. So anyone just needs a forced cry. It's only 10 hours to listen to it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or you can watch that episode of Simpsons Scott talked about. There are
you go.
so many options.
Yeah.
I would throw out, there's some really great books on grieving, by the way. So
All right.
do a basic Google search. If there's enough reviews, it's probably a pretty good one. So yeah, you're definitely not alone if you feel like you're stuck at all, or if you feel like you just need, so some people just know they need to have a good cry and they're stuck and they're not sure why they're not crying. Well, there's plenty of fodder to get you crying. But so there's other resources out there, not just communal, and communal is great, but there's also reading and groups and therapy.
Sure.
So I just throw that out.
All right. No, that's awesome. And real quick, I set up a tiny.cc link for the GoFundMe for Danny. It is over at tiny.cc/Danny Workman, DANI Workman. If anyone out there listening wants to help the family out with some of their
Say
stuff.
it one more time. Tiny CC.
Tiny.cc, so it's a .cc domain. Tiny.cc/Danny Danny Workman, and I use that because the GoFundMe link is ridiculously long. I don't know why GoFundMe doesn't have a URL shortening service. Like, they should let people do domains that are / and then a thing that's easy to remember. Instead, it's this huge long nightmare. I don't know why they don't do that, but
Is Danny spelled? I can't find it.
DANI.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
Okay.
DANI, Workman spelled like you think it is, MAN.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's out there if people want to get in there easy and check it out. I made that during the show today, and I think that's it. Wendy, good stuff as always. You got anything fun planned this week? You guys do anything good?
No, after this conversation, no, nothing.
Nothing at all. All right.
Gonna go hug somebody.
Yeah.
That's
I
your
don't even
plan
know.
this
I'm
week.
gonna go hug one of my neighbors.
Go
I don't
hug
know.
your furry shirtless husband. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
He is furry, by the way. Very
Yeah.
furry.
Oh yeah. No.
He's not a furry. He is.
But is he shirtless?
He's a shirtless furry. All
Okay.
right. Like all furries, aren't they all technically shirtless? I mean, even when they're in their costume, that's a shirt. I mean, it's a shirt on the person, but technically, they're furries are shirtless, right? Do I have that right in my head?
Yeah, imagine that they wear something underneath their.
Oh, they might. That's what I'm saying. They may be fully clothed under there, but the outside.
Oh, I see. The character that they're portraying sometimes has a shirt too. Like sometimes that little fox dude walking around actually has a shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
a good
sometimes
point.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zootopia. They all had shirts on.
Right.
All right.
That's right. Exactly.
I like that movie. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that is helpful. It was to me. It's just good to talk about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. We're going to end today's show on that note and be back tomorrow afternoon for a TMS PM at 3:30 Mountain Time.
Yes.
So come on back for that. My wife's, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but she's having a procedure on Monday. Nothing to worry about, everybody. Just a doctor saying, oh, it's that time of the year, time to go get a thing done. And as a result,
finally getting that growth in the basement removed.
I don't know. He is not budging, so it may not work very well. But anyway, as a result, there's some question as to what TMS looks like on Monday because I don't know what time I'm taking her in. And when she's done, she's sort of drugged and can't drive. So I have to figure that out. I'll let people know.
Sorry, honey, can't take you to the hospital or pick you up because I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But I'll set up Uber on your phone for you.
Sure. There you go, hon. Anyway, that's all happening Monday. I'll let you know before then. It'll all be fine. Tomorrow, TMS PM, and then we got a weekend full of things like Film Sack and other stuff. So look forward to that. Brian Ibbett, please play me a song to take me out this afternoon, daytime, morning.
I will happily do this. This is not even a request. It's a request by me because I love this. This is a band called The Debutantes. If you like that old 60s Ronettes, the Crystals, the Supremes, that sort of thing, or you like some of the stuff from the 80s like Cocteau Twins, these guys remind me a lot of Voice of the Beehive. If you remember a band called Voice of the Beehive,
I do.
These feel like the reincarnation of them.
Yeah.
The brand new single, the debut single, comes out tomorrow, and their album is called Symphonic Pop, which is coming out in summer. This actually features the original performer of the song, Andy Fairweather Lowe, who was a member of a band in the 60s called Amen Corner. They're doing a cover of the song that Andy Fairweather Lowe originally performed called If Paradise Is Half as Nice. And it's such a great reimagining of the song, but they've actually got the original performer recording along with them. Really cool. Here are the Debutantes with If Paradise Is Half as Nice, featuring Andy Fairweather Lowe.
See you guys tomorrow for TMS PM.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
That's why I'm so happy with Shake and Bake.
Oh, I forgot to swap that out from yesterday. Hey.
She's still happy about shaking.